Welcome back to another edition of Research Fantasy presents our MLB DFS pitcher picks for Saturday, May 13th, 2017. I have a hat on. I don't think I've worn a hat since I was 18 years old, which is roughly half my life ago at this point. Depression is starting to set in on that statement, but regardless, my hair has become too wild. I am going to get a cut, don't worry. I don't know why I'm explaining all of this to you, but hey, this is the internet. You got to know everybody's movements. What's the point of having the internet if you don't know what everyone else is doing? We have an interesting slate of baseball. Our videos today will hit the pitchers, we'll hit the hitters, then we'll go back, we'll do a little NASCAR. This week's pretty cut and dry. I don't want to say it stinks for NASCAR, but it's going to be very chalky, so it's going to be interesting to determine how to kind of find those picks that no one else is looking at. As far as baseball goes, not really a huge fan of the pitching that I see. I see a bunch of arms that I think could really have damage done to them. Not really seeing a lot of situations that I feel comfortable about using pitching for. If we're being completely honest, there's only one name that sticks out to me. Didn't make the article specifically because I think he's going to be so chalky, but I will mention him here. So let's get things going today. I don't know why I keep gravitating back to Tyler Anderson of the Colorado Rockies in Coors Field against the Dodgers. The Dodgers it's not a situation where they don't have any right-handers that they can throw out there against a lefty. But it's still just not great righties. You're talking about Kike Hernandez, Franklin Gutierrez, Scott Van Slyke, Chris Taylor. I mean, they've got guys. If they want to go heavy on the right-handed side of the plate, Grandal can flop over. The only guys you're really missing out on are going to be Seager, Bellinger, and Jock Peterson. But when I say that, you realize that that's pretty much the main source of their power. Nonetheless, I don't know what it is. Something keeps sticking out to me about Tyler Anderson when I look at the stats. I mean, he does have a knee issue, but he's going to be starting. He does have the potential for some upside. I mean, he had a 10 strikeout game against Arizona at this very park. You know, a 5 strikeout, 4-run game, which isn't that great whatsoever against Washington. Really, the only game he's done poorly at has been against the Dodgers in this ballpark. And I don't know, call me crazy, but it's not a situation where I necessarily look for history to repeat itself. I think it's one of those situations where his price is so low. I think that this Dodgers lineup can be shut down a little bit better by lefties. I wouldn't be shocked if he posted somewhere around like the 15 fantasy point mark on DraftKings, maybe headed towards that 30 point mark on FanDuel. He could get a win, he could end up with a quality start, and the Dodgers could still do damage to the bullpen behind him. So it's one of those situations where I don't even really think you have to write one or the other off, but that's the route I'm looking. I'll have small ownership, nothing huge on him. All right, let's move on. I can't believe that we're considering him, but this happened with Martin Perez the other day. I mentioned in our article that, like, sometimes you just have to do what you have to do, and that's how I feel about Ricky Nolasco tonight. 7,100 FanDuel against the Detroit Tigers. For the most part, Nolasco has been solid. He's had 2 games where he gave up 4 or 5 runs. Everything else has been pretty decent. I mean, he's shown some strikeout upside with 6, 7, and 10, 4, 3, 3, and 4 in the others, but it's there. The Tigers, not necessarily the most intimidating team right now at the plate. This is in a much bigger ballpark in Anaheim than the Tigers are used to, so I think that it's a situation where in tournaments, Nolasco will probably go a little bit overlooked, but I think there is some upside. We know that the Tigers from years past can get to the point where they swing and miss a lot, and I'll want exposure to Nolasco in tournaments tonight. I think I'm going to wrap things up with a guy who, as crazy as it sounds, might be the chalk play on the day, and that is Trevor Cahill of the San Diego Padres, 8,100 on FanDuel against the Chicago White Sox. Cahill, who knew that this is what we were going to get out of him this year? He's really only had 2 poor outings, but if you call a poor outing 8 strikeouts, 4 runs, 9 strikeouts, 5 runs allowed, then that's fine with me. I mean, I don't really know how else to put it. Is not expert at pitching deep into games, made it to 7 innings once, 6 once. Other than that, it's been mostly 5 2/3. I think he's the best strikeout arm I see on the slate today, to be quite honest with you. And I like the matchup for the Padres bats against Dylan Covey, which always, helps with getting a win if the pitcher you're rostering is going against someone who's a gas can like Covey. So that'll wrap it up on a very unattractive, unappealing pitcher slate. Tyler Anderson, Ricky Nolasco, Trevor Cahill make our cut as our favorite pitchers of the day. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel below. Head over to ResearchFantasy.com. Sign up for our MLB mailing list. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Research and Win. And join us again tomorrow.